Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and excuse my voice, I am a little bit sick. I almost completely lost my voice recently, but I didn't want to wait any longer to film this video. Today I'm going to be doing a good old Shop My Stash. I love watching Shop My Stash videos, so I hope you guys are interested. But before we get into it, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it, and let's get into it. Okay, let's start off with complexion. This is where I keep my primers. I want to try this one from Hourglass, and I haven't used this in years. I used to have a mini years ago, so I want to retry this and see how I feel about it. And you know what? Let's go with the Auric Glow Lust. I haven't used this very often lately because I keep trying to use up the Charlotte Tilbury one. Let's go ahead and use the NYX Born to Glow. I did declutter the other two shades that I had, and I purchased the one in the shade Nude on Amazon recently. The other two shades just didn't work for me. I have been loving this Milani Conceal and Perfect corrector. So let's go with this one, and then something more brightening over top. I'm gonna go with the one from Haus Labs, which I don't think I've used on camera. Okay, for setting powder, let's go with the e.l.f. one for my under eyes. This one I know that I love. And then for the rest of my face, I'm gonna choose the Charlotte Tilbury one. And then for setting spray, let's go with a classic, the Urban Decay All Nighter. For now, I'm just gonna choose a regular eyeshadow primer. I'm gonna go with the Rare Beauty one. I guess depending on the eyeshadow palette I choose, maybe I'll change my mind and wanna use a liquid shadow. For mascara, I'm gonna go with the Rare Beauty one, another favorite. I've been reaching for nothing but the Glossier Boy Brow, but I'm gonna go with the Benefit one. This is the 24-hour brow setter, and I think this one from Maybelline is gonna match me the best right now. I have a few smaller palettes in here, but I want to use a bigger palette today. That's just kind of what I'm in the mood for, so let's go through this drawer instead. This one from Huda Beauty, I don't think I've used on camera, and I haven't used it that much. This is the Empowered palette, so I think I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, now I feel like I can choose a blush, bronzer, and highlighter. Let's go ahead and choose a bronzer first. I'm gonna go with the Tower 28 one. This is the Sculptino in Getty, and I do want a little bit of a shimmery bronzer over top. Let's go with this one from Ofra. This is the Hot Cocoa Bronzer and Highlighter. I used to use this all the time a couple of years ago. I feel like blush is the hardest thing for me to choose because I have so many favorites. Let me just pick a random blush. I'm gonna close my eyes and just choose a random one because I really can't decide. Okay, this one from Melt. Ooh, in the shade Lynx. I haven't used this in forever. And I know the one from Melt is a little bit shimmery, so I don't know that I need another shimmery blush over top, but let's just go ahead and pick one. I'm gonna go ahead and choose this one from Bare Minerals. It's the Bronzer in the shade Kiss of Copper. I'm not gonna pick a highlighter from here because I do already have the highlighter from the Ofra Duo. I almost forgot to choose some lip products, but let's go ahead and choose a lip liner first. I'm gonna go with the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude Lip Liner. I think this should pair really well with whatever eye look I end up doing. I don't think I'm gonna choose a liquid lipstick today just because of how dry my lips have been lately, so I'm just gonna skip this entire container right here. Let's choose a traditional bullet lipstick instead. Maybe one of the ones from Merit. Actually, I think I want to use one of these Revlon ones. This one is in the shade Nude Illuminator. I might end up mixing this one in Sparkling Honey. And then I don't think I need a gloss since these are so shiny, but let's choose one just in case. I'm gonna go with this one from Lawless. This is the Forget the Filler lip gloss in the shade George. Here are all of the items that I chose, so let's go ahead and do a makeup look with them. Okay, let's start off with primer. This is the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. I still haven't opened this yet. It is a mini that I got for free at Sephora. I wanna say sometime last year. So I think it's time I go ahead and try this. I have tried this in the past, but it's been quite a few years. From what I remember, I think this is a pore minimizing primer. So something geared towards oily to oily combo skin. I do have oily combo skin, so I think this is gonna be perfect. Okay, I thought this had a pump, but I guess since it is a sample, it's gonna have different packaging. So this actually has some sort of spatula. It does go on white, but I remember it does end up looking invisible once you blend it in. Okay, it feels really nice and silky. This is reminding me of the NYX Angel Veil Primer, which I did used to have, but that was a few years ago, and I do like that one as well. This one I would say is a little thinner in consistency. I think I like that. I feel like it did minimize my pores. I think I need to apply foundation over top to really see, but so far it did make my skin feel really silky. Let's go ahead and apply some luminizer. This is the Auric Glow Lust in the shade Selenite. And I really like this product, but I just don't use it that often, especially because I'm trying to use up my Charlotte Tilbury one. But this gives such a pretty glow to the skin, and a little bit goes a long way. This is all I'm gonna use for the high points of my face, and I'm probably gonna have a little bit left over. I'm gonna take this brush from Real Techniques. It's the contour brush, and I'm gonna work the product into the brush, and I'm only gonna apply it on the high points, kind of like a highlighter. This one has a really pretty pearly finish. And then I'm gonna take my sponge and press it in further. You get so much product with this that I honestly don't know if or when I'm ever gonna run out, but that's not a bad thing in my opinion. Like I said, I did pick up another shade of the NYX Born to Glow foundation. This one is in the shade Nude. This is such a pretty foundation. It is glowy, but it doesn't get too greasy on me, and it feels pretty lightweight on the skin. I'm gonna go ahead and blend it in with my sponge. Normally I would apply it with a brush first. Maybe I should have done that since I do have quite a bit of redness on my cheeks. Okay, I do want a little more coverage, so I'm gonna apply more, but I'm gonna blend it in with a brush instead. I don't know why I didn't do that to begin with. I think I remember now that I do prefer the way that this applies with a brush. I don't know how it looks on camera, but it's looking a little bit light for me. I guess that's the problem I've had with this foundation, is that I just can't find a good shade for me, like to use on its own. I always have to mix something into it, and I'm pretty sure it's discontinued. They do have a few shades left on Amazon, but it looks so pretty on the skin. I would say it leans more like natural. I think it has more of a natural finish with a hint of glow. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Under Eye Brightener in the shade 02 Melon. I've been loving this one because it's really thin. It's not one of those thicker under eye correctors. So I feel like it pairs really well with a lot of different concealers. So I'm just gonna apply some under my eyes. It's also not super pigmented, so I don't feel like I need to use a lot of concealer over top of it. It just kind of blends into my skin tone. And then I'm gonna take the House Labs concealer over top of it, and this is in the shade 10 Light Golden. What I don't love is the packaging. The doe foot applicator gets super messy every time you take it out of the tube, but that's maybe the worst part about this concealer. Sometimes it can be a little finicky depending on the other complexion products that I use underneath it. Sometimes it can look a little cakey. So I'm kind of in between with this one. I don't know that I necessarily don't like it, but I also don't love it. I hope that makes sense. It's super thick, which is why I thought I wasn't gonna like this, but it actually blends out pretty nicely. It's looking really nice though over top of the Milani corrector. I don't think I had tried it over top of this corrector. Okay, time for some cream contour slash bronzer. This is the Tower 28 Sculptino in the shade Getty. This works more like a cream bronzer on my skin tone, but I think they do market it as a cream contour. It's a really emollient formula, but it doesn't seem to be greasy on my skin. I just really like this formula. I really want to try their cream blushes. I've heard really good things about those, so I might have to pick one up during the next Sephora sale, which I have no idea when that's gonna be. I think they have one in the spring, so I'm gonna have to start working on my wish list because there are quite a few products that I'm interested in, but I'm not gonna buy all of them, of course. And then I'm gonna apply some to the sides of my nose just for a little bit of definition. It might look a little intense right now, but I am gonna go over it with my sponge. And since I do have some foundation left over on the sponge, it's gonna sheer it out a little bit. I've been so focused on trying to use up the Makeup by Mario sculpting stick that I feel like I've neglected this Tower 28 one. This one I definitely haven't used in a really long time. This is the Melt Cream Blush Light in the shade Lynx. I feel like I don't have anything like this in my collection, and this formula is so unique. It's super creamy, and it almost has like an old school makeup scent. Like not in a bad way, like in a good way. It's very nostalgic to me. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it smells kind of like a lipstick from the 90s. So I'm gonna apply that with a brush first. Oh, hold on, Charlie. My cat Charlie wants to come in, but I'm busy right now. Why don't I use this more often? Even the other shades that I have, I'm really gonna need to reach for them more often. I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eyes with the e.l.f. Prime and Stay Finishing Powder in the shade Fair / Light. And this is a favorite of mine. And then to set the rest of my face, I'm gonna take the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder in the shade Medium. And this is such a tiny sample, but I have been using it every once in a while, and I do really like it. I think I said in one of my declutter videos from last year that I didn't really see the hype with this, but I think I get it now, and I do want to purchase the full size once I run out of this. So I do take back what I said. I think it is worth the hype. It makes my skin look really smooth and almost airbrushed. I guess that's why it's called the airbrush powder. So I'm just gonna set my entire face with this. It seems to have a little bit of coverage, and it is in the shade Medium, which I think I will pick up this same shade. I'm gonna go in with the Ofra Hot Cocoa Duo, and this is a shimmery bronzer. I might not use a highlighter today. I feel like I'm using a ton of shimmery and glowy complexion products, so it might be overkill. Very pigmented. But this has such a pretty finish. I don't know why I haven't used it in such a long time. I just realized this might be discontinued. Hopefully it's not. I thought I saw it on Ulta recently, but I could be wrong. I am gonna go in with a little bit of the Bare Minerals bronzer, even though I don't think I need it. But let's just go in with a little bit because I do really like this blush. I'm pretty sure they redid the packaging now. This is the original packaging. I think it's black now, but I'm pretty sure it's the same formula. Okay, I'm back from a cough attack and I did my brows. So I did go ahead and use the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim Pencil in the shade Black Brown. And I still like this, but I just don't have a lot of practice with brow pencils lately. I used to use brow pencils all the time, but lately I've just been using a tinted brow gel. So I did struggle to fill in my brows today, but I'm gonna keep practicing. I also went over top of it with the 24-hour brow setter from Benefit. And I really like this one. I just haven't used it that often because it is a clear brow gel and I do prefer something tinted. It does brush through my brows really nicely. I like the look that it gives. So that is it for brows. And let's move on to eyeshadow next. I'm gonna prime my lids with the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer. I'm definitely gonna repurchase this as soon as I run out of it. I'm gonna blend it with my sponge. I do like to blend it in with my finger as well, but I'm just being kind of lazy today. I probably should have done my eyes first because from what I remember, the few times that I've used this palette, it does have quite a bit of fallout, at least the shimmer shades do. But this is the Huda Beauty Empowered palette. I don't know what it is about this palette that I just don't find myself wanting to reach for it that often. It's a really pretty color story, but at least compared to my other Huda Beauty palettes, this one is definitely my least favorite. It's not a bad palette by any means. I love the mattes in here especially, but I think just the color story in general isn't my favorite. Let's go ahead and mix Power and Best Self, these two right here. I do love Huda Beauty's matte formula though. I'm also gonna take the shade Get It, and this one is more of a coral shade, like a light coral. So just blending it over top of the other two shades. I honestly have no idea where this look is going, but these peachy shades are really nice. I'm gonna deepen up the outer corner with Keep Going. It's not a super deep shade, so it might not show up a lot, but I just want some sort of depth on the outer corners. I'm also gonna take the shade Legacy. This palette does have a couple of deeper cream shadow shades, but I am not a fan of those. I felt like they never really dried down the few times that I used them. So that is why I'm not using them for today's look. I guess you could use them as cream liners and then set them with a matte shadow, but I feel like that's just too much work for me. I honestly wish those deeper shades were just matte shades. I'm gonna take the shade Visionary, which is a like marbled shimmer shade, and it seems to have some purple and rose gold. So I'm gonna apply that to my lids. It's like a really pretty rose gold shimmer. That's actually really nice. I'm gonna take this one called Bold Moves. I'm just gonna do a really light layer of this. I'm just tapping my finger into the pan. And I'm trying to sheer it out because I want it kind of like a topper shade. I'm gonna take the shade Keep Going and apply that on the lower lash line. I still like to use these ABH dual-ended eyeshadow brushes, the ones that used to come in the palettes. They're just really good for the lower lash line. I have quite a few of them and I don't think I'll ever get rid of them. And then I'm gonna take the shade Get It and use that to buff that out. And then I'm also taking Legacy and keeping that right on the outer corner. And then for the inner corner, I'm gonna take some of that highlighter from the Ofra Duo. For setting spray, I'm gonna take the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. I did forget to choose an eyeliner during the Shop My Stash, so I went ahead and applied the Too Faced Killer Liner in the shade Killer Espresso, and I just tightlined with that. I hadn't done that in forever. I just have been skipping out on that step, but I feel like it makes a big difference. I'm gonna use the Rare Beauty Perfect Strokes Mascara, and this is my #1 favorite mascara. I have yet to find something that's as good as this one. I have other mascara favorites, but this is just #1. I'm gonna line my lips with the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in the shade Iconic Nude. This is honestly like the perfect nude lip liner shade. I pretty much filled in my entire lips with that, but I am gonna go over top of it with the Revlon Super Lustrous Shine Lipstick in the shade Sparkling Honey. I'm gonna top it with this shade as well, Nude Illuminator. This one is a little more pinky. Okay, that paired really nicely. I have layered these two shades together before, but not with this lip liner. This is such a pretty lip combo. I know I chose the Lawless Forget the Filler lip gloss, but I don't think it's gonna go with this look since it is so taupey. You know what? I'm just gonna add a little bit just because I did choose it already. Just like a little dot. I don't know that you can really see that, but it didn't ruin the look. All right, so here is the completed makeup look. I didn't really know what I was gonna do, but I'm really happy with the results. I had so much fun picking out all of the makeup items for this look. Let me know if you guys wanna see more Shop My Stash videos. Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and I will see you in the next one. Bye.